Hello everyone, welcome back to Data Science with Yash, and we're going to continue our discussion with respect to Python series. So, in the last class, we have learned about what is for loop, and we have discussed about what is while loops and the loop control statements. We have break, continue, and pass, right? And in today's session, our focus will be on nested loops. And to understand this nested loops, the prerequisite is that you have to understand a for loop and while loop. And if you have not watched my video, check my playlist, right? So let's get started with the nested loops. Yes. So nested loops are loops inside loops, and each loop can use a different counter. Sometimes you have to use a loop inside loop, and this loop inside loop is nothing but a nested loop. You can relate this with a second hand which is moving around the minute hand and the minute hand which is moving around the hour hand. This is the same concept here. Loop will be moving inside another loop, and that particular loop might move inside another loop, right? And we'll try to understand this concept very clearly. Let me first discuss this. So I'm trying to run for I in the range of 4, and within this we call it as outer loop. Or let me print this and try to explain you clearly. 1 second. Clear? So let's try to understand this clearly. So this particular thing is called outer loop, and within this outer loop, the body of outer loop he is nothing but we have inner loop, and this is the body of inner loop. Body of inner loop. Clear? So let us try to understand what this program. So I am trying to print. So the concept behind nested loop is that first iteration first iteration through outer loop. Clear? And the second step is that it goes into the body of this outer loop and complete iterations of inner loop. Complete iterations of inner loop. Let us try to understand this. So initially here we have for I in range of 4, so it starts with 0, right? So I will be holding a value of 0 initially, and next it will go inside this body of outer loop, which is nothing but the inner loop. So for j in the range of 2, so j will also be holding the value of 0, right? So and it is getting printed I comma j, so we are going to get the first output as 0 comma 0. Clear? But what did I tell? It completes the iteration of inner loop, and only then it will go for the second iteration through outer loop, right? So again, now the second case will be I equals to 0, and now j is in the range of 0 to 2, which means we have two values. We have 0 and we have 1, right? So j will be 1 now, and it is again going to print the output will be 0 comma 1. Clear? And next, so this completes the inner iterations, right? This completes the inner loop iterations. So now it will again go to the second iteration for this outer loop. So now I value will be 1, and j value will be, it starts with 0, right? So 0, so we are going to get 1 comma 0. We are going to get 1 comma 0. Clear? Just a second. Copy this. Copy here. Just a second. here. That's fine. Clear? So let us try to understand. Let's continue the discussion. So the next step we have I is again 1 and j this time it will be 1. So we are going to get the values 1 comma 1. Clear? So now we have done with the inner iteration for the second iteration of outer loop. So now it is again going to go for the third iteration, which is nothing but the I will be holding the value of 2 now, and c is again 0. So we are going to get the value of 2 comma 0, and similarly I equals to 2 and j equals to 1. Since we are trying to complete this inner iteration, so we're going to get the value of 2 comma 1. And similarly now it will go for the fourth iteration where I will be holding the value of 3 and j starts from 0. You're going to get the value of 3 comma 0, and now j is equals to 1, and we are going to get, sorry, j equals to 1 and I will be, so I is equals to 3, and we're gonna get j equals to 1. So output will be 3 comma 0 and 3 comma 1, right? So since we have a range till 4, only 4, which means we are going to get, we are going to consider three values 0 1 comma 2 comma 3, right? So these are the outputs we are supposed to get. Let's cross check. You can see here, first the outer loop got executed and then the it completes the inner loop. So 0 0 and 0 1, and then after completing this inner loop or complete execution of inner loop, it is again going for the second iteration of this outer loop 1 0 1 1, and similarly completing the inner loop execution, and then it is going for the third iteration, which is nothing but 2 0 2 1, and then fourth iteration 3 0 3 1. It is trying to print I comma j. Clear? I hope this example clears your doubt. And then we'll be taking one more example. In this example, what I'm trying to do is I have a list, and where I specified three names, Yash, Yamuna, and Yashoda, and I want to print each character, and I don't want to print the character if Y is present. If the character is Y, I don't want to print that, and the rest of the characters it need to be printed. Let's understand this, right? So let me copy this. Maybe here. Try to increase the font size. Yes, clear. So let's understand this thing. So I have to print individual character, like I have to print YASHYAMU, an individual character by character. But if it is Y, I don't want to print that. So I should start with ASH and then here AMUNA and ASHOTA. So for this, I have to traverse through this list, right? At first I have to traverse through this list, right? And then from individual item I have to extract the characters. Clear? So for I in list 1, which means it is first trying to iterate through this, and I'm going to get this. So I will be holding Yash, I equals to Yash now. So next step is that for J in I, so J first it started with J equals to Y. This is J, right? It is going to traverse through this string now. Clear? So if j is not equals to y, but here j is equals to y, right? So it is not going to print here. The output will be, so first letter is y, so it's not going to print. And next we have to complete this inner loop first, and then only we have to go for this outer outer loop second iteration, right? So it has to complete this inner loop. So now the j is equals to a, and a is not equals to y, right? So we are going to get this output as a, and next it is going to traverse through s, and we are going to get s here because s is not equals to y, and then now it is going to traverse through h, and we are going to get it output as h, right? So this inner loop execution is done, right? What it does is now, so it goes for the second iteration of this outer loop, second iteration. So now it will check for Yamuna. So now I is holding, what value I is holding? So now I is holding the Yamuna, right? So now for j in I, so j will traversing through this individual characters. It starts with y, so initially it is y. So j is not equals to y, which is false, so it is not going to print y. And then now a, we are going to get a, and then similarly next m, which is not equals to y, so m, and then traversing through u, and then a n a, and we are going to get u n a. This is the output, right? And then after completing this inner loop execution, it will again go to the outer loop to fetch the next item, right? So I will be Yashoda, and similarly individual character it tries to print, it checks if it is not y, it will give you as an output. Clear? So let us try printing here Jupiter and check. You can see here, since we have it, I is taking, it is traversing through this list, and then j is traversing through individual character. So it started with a, and we got the same output, right? Clear? I hope this example is clear. So let us try understanding one more example, which is very much important. And this example is calculating the sum of n natural numbers using while loop. Okay, so let's try to understand this concept as well. Try to print and increase the font size. Clear? So I want to print sum of n natural numbers. So sum of n natural numbers, that too using a while loop, right? And here I want to print the sum of five numbers. I have taken n equals to 5, right? And this total, I want to store the addition, whatever we are doing, I want to store in this particular variable to understand what is the final sum of five numbers. I want to keep this total in this variable, and I started with count equals to 1 because number starts from 1 2 3, right? So I started with count equals to 1, and I'm specifying the condition where count is less than or equal to n. Total should be total plus count, and count I'm trying to increment by 1. Let's try to understand this. So I started with count equals to 1, right? So while count is less than or equal to n, so 1 is less than or equal to 5, right? This condition is true, right? So what it does is total initially we have 0, so 0 plus count is 1, so the total now is 1, right? And I'm trying to increment this count by 1. Count plus equals to 1, which means count initially is 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2 now. Clear? So now what it does is this count 2 will again go through this loop, right? So just a second. Yes. So 2 is less than equals to 5, which is again true, right? So now total will be, initially we have total as 1, and now this is 2. So we are going to get it as value as 3, right? So and count will be, initially we have 2 and we are increasing by 1, so 3. and this 3 again will be traveling through this. So 3 is again less than equals to 5, which is true, right? So total, initially we have 3, and 3 plus count. Count is 3, so we are getting it as 6. So count will be now 3 plus 1, which is nothing but 4. And this 4 will again go here. So I'll write here 4, which is less than equal to 5. This is true, right? So the total, initially it is 6, and we are adding count 4. So we got it as 10, and count equals to 4 plus 1, 5. This is nothing but 5. So this 5 will again travel here. So we are going to get 5 less than equals to 5, which is again true. So the total now is, initially we have 10 and plus 5, 15. And count is equals to, we have initially 5 and plus 1, 6. So here the loop stops because 6 is not less than or equals to 5, right? So here the loop stops. So we are getting a sum total of 15. Let us cross check. When I'm trying to print this total, I'm getting it as 15. Right? This is the concept behind this. Try to understand. So initially you have taken a variable as total, which you have declared it as 0 because you have not summed up yet. So I'm starting the count with 1, and I'm trying to give a condition where the count is less than or equals to n, where I specified the n as 5. And then I'm trying to increase the count by 1 and summing up the total plus count. So finally, after adding like 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, we are going to get the value as 15, right? And you can try checking with other numbers as well. You can try, I want you to try with different numbers and check, right? Obviously 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 till 10, we are going to get the sum as 55. Clear? And this is using for loop, the same concept. I want you to try this, and if you face any difficulty, please leave a comment below and I'll try to explain this in the next class. But the same concept, you have taken a variable or a total, you have declared it as 0, and you're trying to run a for loop, and you're incrementing this by I, you're adding the value and then trying to print the total, right? The same concept. And if you face any difficulty, and you can drop a comment below, I'll definitely try to teach this in the next class. And the most important program is the prime numbers. You have to understand this concept very clearly. This is a must program that everyone need to understand, because this question has been asked n number of companies in interviews. So please pay attention for this. So let us try understanding this concept. Is the font size clear? So basically, what is the concept of prime number? So prime number is nothing but a number, any number. Let me write here. Any number divisible by 1 and itself. Right? Any number which is divisible by 1 and itself is a prime number. Right? So let's say a number 7 is there, and definitely it is going to divisible by 1. So we have to start checking by 2, right? So we'll be checking by 7 by 2, and then 7 by 3, and then 7 by 4, 7 by 5, 7 by 6. Obviously 7 by 7 we are not going to check, right? So we have to start checking from 2 till the previous number, right? So the same concept, I have taken a number from the user itself. I'm trying to take from the user, And for I in the range of 2 comma number, 2 comma number means you have taken a number, let's say the same thing, let's say I've taken a number 10, and for I in the range of 2 comma 10, so it is going to check from 10 by 2 till 10 by 9. And if in between any of these are divisible, exactly divisible, and giving out the remainder as 0, this modulus I is nothing but it is, if the remainder is 0, this is definitely not a prime number, right? So it is getting divisible by 2 means it is not a prime number, not a prime number, right? So if 10 divided by 2, we are getting the remainder as 0, right? So definitely 10 is not a prime number. So here we are trying to declare it as a break. Because we came to a conclusion that that particular number is not a prime number, then why do we check for 10 by 3 and 10 by 4 and the rest still 10 by 9? Clear? So this else is been given for this out for loop, this for loop. Clear? So let's take another example, maybe 17, right? The user has given the input as 17, and this line will tell you for I in the range of 2 comma number. So for I in the range of 2 comma 17, it is going to check like if number modulus I is nothing but number is 17, so modulus and I it starts with 2. If this remainder is 0, it's not a prime number, right? So it is going to check from 17 by 2 till 17 by 16, and if you find anywhere the remainder is 0, then this is not a prime number. Clear? So definitely 17 by 2 till 17 by 16, there is no such number where the remainder is giving you 0, so 17 is a prime number. So it will go to this else condition and it will print it as a prime number. Clear? This is the concept of prime number, and this is very much important program. In many of the interviews this question been asked, right? So try practicing this program. Let us check here. I'm trying to enter maybe 23. Yes, 23 is a prime number, and maybe 10. 10 is not a prime number since it's getting divided by 2 and we are finding the remainder is 0, right? So this is not a prime number. Maybe any other number, 17. So it is a prime number. Clear? So these are very much important. These programs are very much important to understand, right? So that's for you about nested loops, and we'll try to cover more and more programs, and I'll come up with a series where I'll try to explain all the important programs related to interviews. So stay tuned, and if you face any difficulty in understanding the concept, feel free to leave a comment below. I'll try to clarify your doubt. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and stay connected. We'll be coming up with more such Python programs and in-depth understanding of the Python program. Right? Thank you.